On this Saturday night, airport attacker, the chaotic moments in a Paris terminal as a man grabs a soldier's machine gun before he is shot and killed. A terror investigation now underway. Attack by tweet. A man charged for sending a tweet the FBI says caused a prominent journalist to suffer a seizure. What could be a new frontier in cybercrime. Life and death, critical medical research facing big cuts in the president's budget. Tonight, how the funding has helped save lives. Fear on the freeway, a new warning to drivers in California after another motorist is shot. And let's dance, how they begin the day in a school where tradition provides an important lesson. Nightly News begins now.
From NBC News World Headquarters in New York, this is NBC Nightly News with Jose Diaz-Balart.
Good evening, Paris. Once again, the site of a possible terrorist attack. This one, fortunately, thwarted. A man saying he was, quote, there to die for Allah, stole a machine gun from a soldier at Orly Airport, killed before he could take a single life. Tonight, France remains on edge under a state of emergency since a number of terror attacks from Charlie Hebdo to the massacre at the Bataclan. Keir Simmons has the very latest tonight from the scene of the attack.
His dead body spread across the floor of an international airport, an automatic weapon on his chest. Police say Ziad Ben Belgassem, in the last hours of his life, shot and injured a police officer, hijacked a car, and for a few terror-filled minutes, held a soldier hostage at Paris Orly Airport. The French prosecutor says Belgassem said, "I am here to die for Allah," and was carrying a copy of the Quran. As passengers panicked, the end came. He grabbed a gun from a female soldier. He was holding her by the throat, and he was holding her arm and her weapon, this witness says. The airport, the second busiest in France, was evacuated. Total panic, says another witness. People running in every direction. We heard 2, 3, 4 gunshots, says another. Then we thought, it's an attack.
How fast was the airport's response to the attack?
Instantly.
Prosecutors say in the early morning, Belgassem fired shots at police in a northern Paris suburb after being stopped for speeding, wounding a female police officer in the face. On the run, he abandoned his getaway car, hijacking a second car at gunpoint. At 8:30 a.m., he attacked the group of soldiers at Orly Airport and was shot and killed. This afternoon, police searched at homes in a suburb of Paris. The man's father, brother and cousin questioned, the prosecutor revealing tonight. Europe has seen air travel targeted by terrorists, including the bombing of Brussels airport last year. And France has witnessed terror shootings. The Paris attacks in 2015, seeing 130 killed. The country remains on an emergency footing. The French president urging we must remain vigilant.
Tonight, the airport has reopened, but thousands of passengers have been delayed or rerouted. And France, with crucial presidential elections starting next month, is once again a country on edge. Jose?
Keir Simmons in Paris, thank you. A Maryland man is under arrest tonight, charged with criminal cyber stalking that could have resulted in death. It happened on Twitter to a prominent journalist who says he suffered an epileptic seizure after opening an animated image sent to him. The case is the first of its kind, and NBC's Maya Rodriguez has the details.
It's an alleged cyber world crime the FBI says is a first of its kind in the U.S. 29-year-old John Rain Ravello arrested on Friday in Maryland, accused of sending a tweet with the intent to kill.
You have the problems in South Korea.
His target, police say, Newsweek writer and MSNBC contributor Kurt Eichenwald, who has epilepsy and collapsed after receiving the tweet with an animated, strobing image back in December. If true, experts say it's a new frontier in how people can use social media to literally hurt someone.
We're talking about people who are researching these things that people have, and then they're trying to come up with a way to attack it.
Federal investigators say besides Ravello's tweet to Eichenwald with the words, "You deserve a seizure for your posts," a warrant uncovered direct messages to other users saying, "I know he has epilepsy," and "I hope this sends him into a seizure." Among evidence gathered from Ravello's iCloud account, authorities say a screenshot of Eichenwald's Wikipedia page with a fake date of death, one day after the alleged attack. Today, Eichenwald, who believes he was targeted because of his criticism of Donald Trump, thanked law enforcement agencies involved in the investigation on Twitter, saying that dozens of others had sent him similar flashing tweets, adding, "Details of their cases are with the FBI. Stop sending them."
We need to get ahead of this because it is dramatically changing. It changes every minute so far on the internet.
Marking a new way to commit crime in the digital era. Maya Rodriguez, NBC News.
There was a new warning about North Korea today from Secretary of State Rex Tillerson. He met in Beijing with his Chinese counterpart, who called for restraint on North Korea ahead of Tillerson's meeting tomorrow with China's president. NBC's Janice Mackey-Frayer has more from Beijing.
In China, Secretary of State Rex Tillerson faces his toughest meetings yet. His mission to pressure Beijing to use its clout to rein in North Korea.
The tensions on the peninsula are quite high right now, and that things have reached a rather dangerous level. And we've committed ourselves to do everything we can to prevent any type of conflict from breaking out.
With the threat level at a high and signs a nuclear test is imminent, Tillerson rejected talks. Yesterday, warning a preemptive strike against Kim Jong-un's weapons programs could be next.
The policy of strategic patience has ended.
Chinese officials today urged cooler heads. The meetings were cordial but tense, and landing hours before Tillerson did a tweet by President Trump saying North Korea is behaving badly and slamming China for doing little to help ease the threat. Also complicating talks for the U.S. here, the missile defense system it's deploying in South Korea. China so fiercely opposed, experts warn it could trigger an arms race.
Very important decision is that China will dramatically increase its nuclear armament.
The Secretary of State declared a new North Korea plan is needed, but he has yet to say what that is. Tomorrow, he meets with China's President Xi Jinping, who's expected to meet President Trump next month. Jose?
Thank you so much. And healthcare will be a major issue this coming week. On Thursday, the House is expected to vote on the controversial healthcare overhaul bill. But right now, Republicans may not have enough support to pass it. NBC's Kelly O'Donnell joins us from West Palm Beach. Kelly.
Good evening, Jose. Both the president and vice president are in Palm Beach tonight, just days before a crucial deadline on a major campaign promise, repealing Obamacare. Today, it was Mike Pence who made the public sales pitch. He visited Jacksonville, Florida, and a paper supply company there trying to drum up support for the GOP plan. And when they vote Thursday, they may not have the support to pass it.
Just yesterday, President Trump made it clear he supports the bill 100%. And we all do. Every day, more and more members of Congress are getting on board.
The take was very different in Texas, where longtime conservative Congressman Pete Sessions held a town hall meeting. The auditorium was packed, and much of the reaction boiled over.
If we continue this, no member of Congress will want to meet with me.
We must change course. Vote it down.
Trying to ease some of those concerns, the congressman explained what's in the GOP plan and said that many of the changes would be phased in over the next couple of years. Jose?
And Kelly, the president also tweeted this morning about his meetings with German Chancellor Angela Merkel.
It seems, Jose, he was trying to get the last word via Twitter on that White House visit from the chancellor. He said it was a great meeting, but then in the same tweeted breath, he accused Germany of owing vast sums to NATO for defense, while the president says that the U.S. has carried too great a burden for too long. Jose?
Kelly O'Donnell, thank you so much. The president's plan to cut billions of dollars in funding for medical and scientific research is causing an alarm in that community. Tonight, NBC's Ann Thompson looks how this money is used and how it has helped save lives.
Brianna Comaford is a 19-year-old college freshman just back from spring break. Something few would have thought possible 10 years ago when she was diagnosed with stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Right away, I began experimental treatments, which, thank gosh, worked.
Her life saved by a chemotherapy regimen, funded in part by the National Institutes of Health, the NIH.
I am just so grateful that 9-year-old me was saved by scientists and researchers.
The NIH, described as the nation's engine of biomedical discovery, is on the chopping block. The Trump administration wanting to cut nearly $6 billion, 20% of its budget, calling for a major reorganization to help focus resources on the highest priority research, but offering no specifics. Money from the NIH funds the vast majority of research at Columbia University Medical Center. Dollar's chief executive, Dr. Lee Goldman, says the country can't afford to lose.
So if you say we're working on heart disease, kidney disease, diabetes, Alzheimer's disease, and cancer, pick one. We'll stop working on it. Or say we'll do 20% less of everything, and 20% fewer discoveries will occur.
For 80 years, NIH-funded research helped lead to many of the most significant breakthroughs in medicine. AZT and antiretroviral drugs that have transformed HIV/AIDS from a death sentence to a manageable chronic condition. The hepatitis B vaccine and numerous advances in the fight against cancer, including the chemotherapy that cured Brianna.
I'm now 10 years cancer-free, and I'm living life. I'm happy and healthy.
A future made possible, in part, by federally funded science. Ann Thompson, NBC News, New York.
Much more about the budget battle tomorrow morning on Meet the Press. OMB Director Mick Mulvaney and California Congressman Adam Schiff will be among Chuck Todd's guests. There was another brief security scare at the White House today after a man jumped over a barrier on Pennsylvania Avenue. He never made it to the White House fence and was arrested by the Secret Service within minutes. The incident follows the arrest of a man who did scale the fence 1 week ago, was on the grounds for more than 15 minutes. In California, there were new warnings to motorists this week after another shooting on a busy freeway. The number of shootings is alarming, far more than in previous years, and police fear that innocent drivers will be killed. We get more from Miguel Almaguer.
The shootings have plagued some of Northern California's busiest freeways. On Thursday, during the rush hour commute, a 17-year-old is shot twice on the busy 101 in San Jose.
Looks like a gunshot to the right side of the jaw.
This shooting among the latest in a series of near-deadly encounters. Shots fired on roads packed with drivers.
I know it's dangerous. It's awful.
The Highway Patrol says nearly 80 shootings have been reported on Bay Area freeways in the last 15 months. Many gang-related, others cases of road rage. But all endanger the lives of innocent commuters on the state's most congested freeways in the shadows of the iconic Golden Gate and Bay Bridges. Just last week, an innocent college student killed.
It's horrible. It is very dangerous. These people were targeted, but they were mistargeted. It could have been, anybody driving down the road.
With the CHP investigating a new freeway shooting in Southern California, officers tell us arresting suspects who open fire car to car can be challenging.
The most difficult is making a clear identification of who was involved in that shooting.
Tonight, some say more freeway-mounted cameras and license plate readers would help officers speed up their investigations. But that may not stop the shootings and the growing risk so many face behind the wheel. Miguel Almaguer, NBC News, Los Angeles.
The issue of border security came into sharp focus this week with the president's call in his budget proposal for billions to finance detention, deportation, and his border wall. Violence along the border was also highlighted this week with a deadly shooting in the Rio Grande. NBC's Gotti Schwartz was there as it unfolded.
This week on the Texas-Mexico border, a rush to the river. A Border Patrol agent finding 3 people shot in a fishing boat riddled with bullets.
Those are bullet holes. Correct there.
1 killed, the gunfire from Mexico. No word on motive, but agents say this is a case in point on why more protection is needed.
Being as volatile as it is, we want more agents to be able to be out here to take care of and make this place safe.
Now President Trump's new budget proposal calling for heavy spending to increase border security, including $314 million for 500 new Border Patrol agents and 1,000 more ICE officers. But that's only a tenth of the 15,000 additional agents President Trump originally promised. The largest border expense, $4.1 billion in taxpayer money over the next 2 years to start on a proposed border wall. This despite campaign promises that Mexico would pay.
And Mexico will pay for the wall.
Even before the budget proposal, there were indications that this administration's hard stance on immigration was having an impact. Border apprehensions down 40%.
And here downriver, you still see rafts that litter the sides of the riverbanks. But these days, the surge of crossings isn't as obvious.
The last time we were here, right before President Trump's inauguration, we saw nearly 100 immigrants rounded up by Border Patrol. This time, in the same place, we saw only 2. Jessica Rubenya Enriquez is trying to escape the violence in Honduras.
She says that 4 years ago, they killed her brother and she was hit by a bullet and she lost her leg.
Her journey north starting right after Trump was elected and before a new push for expedited deportations.
If they deport you, ¿qué va a pasar? What's going to happen?
Pues yo no puedo regresar a Honduras.
She says she can't go back to Honduras.
Until recently, she may have been given a court date, an ankle monitor, and released. But now the priority is detain and deport.
This family, a few months ago, may not have been deported immediately. Now they most likely will.
Yes, I believe that the removal procedures will be initiated as soon as we turn this family over.
Another deportation, Border Patrol Sector Chief Manuel Padilla hopes will send a message that border laws are being enforced. Gary Schwartz, NBC News, McAllen, Texas.
Up next, Harry Smith goes to a school where the day still begins with a dance. Finally tonight, in an age when many of us are plugged in much of the time to our devices, whether it's for entertainment, work, or even school, it's nice to know that some still find value spending part of their day engaging in actual, real human interaction. Harry Smith found one example in Montana where they dance.
At the foot of the Rockies in northern Montana sits the Bynum School, where the calendar may claim 2017, but you think otherwise. Every morning, the children dance to melodies and rhythms that maybe only their grandparents remember.
They love dancing. They love to be there. And you put a record on and, man, they're just out there. They race to get a partner. They do.
And when the dancing is done, they sing. A song that predates the Civil War. The morning ritual goes back to the Great Depression, the idea of Ira Perkins, who taught here for more than 50 years. Susan Lunstra was his protege.
He would always say, if you come to school angry or with a chip on your shoulder, if you dance for 20 minutes, you'll feel fine. And it's usually very true if you try that.
I may try that.
I know.
Perkins' hypothesis was simple. Dancing and singing would be the glue that could bind ranch kids and town kids, poor kids and kids with plenty. It still works.
Do you think dancing helps you get along with people?
Yeah, because you dance with people that you may not like, and if you dance with them, you get along.
You kind of have to get along.
Yeah.
A curriculum of kindness.
I think builds a solid sense of being and helps build children who have a better sense of who they are when they go out into the bigger world.
That Friday night, there was a community dance. The place was packed. Generations joined hands. The past was present, and all were thankful for it. Harry Smith, NBC News, Bynum, Montana.
Curriculum of kindness. That's NBC Nightly News for this Saturday. Tomorrow on Nightly News with Kate Snow, how a famous poem inspired one community to give new life to a fading tree. I'm Jose Diaz-Balart reporting from New York. Thank you for the privilege of your time. Good night.